All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to TeloYouth Wednesday morning educational webinar. Today we have Dr. Chris on the line. He has 30 years, I guess, of experience as a naturopathic practitioner, and he's also an internationally renowned educator and speaker, and most importantly, is a formulator of our incredible products, Surround You Serum and TeloYouth. Good morning, Dr. Chris.
Good morning, MJ, and good morning, everyone out there in listening and viewing land. So glad to be with you all this morning. And welcome to TeloYouth, Inc. We are the Rejuvenation company, and we're so excited about introducing age-reversing technology. And we started a couple weeks ago introducing a two-part series on TeloYouth and the immune system. So why don't we just jump right in and get into today's conversation. So let me get this. All right. So on this slide here, you see that there's an incredible network of system of organs and systems that connect every cell in the body to our immunity. On the left side there, you see the thymus, the spleen, the lymph nodes, the T cells that circulate throughout the body. The connection to the bone marrow, and this is our immune system, and the lymphatic system, designated there on the right side, is the channels, the flow of these immune molecules that access every part of our body. And when you think about the lymphatic system, remember the circulatory system goes to groups of cells, but our lymphatic system goes to every cell. And this is how we connect and allows our immune system to defend the body against any attacks by foreign invaders, which can mean bacteria, viruses, or foreign substances like chemicals that could cause harm to the body. And we see the immune system in three parts generally, and it's often referred to as the body's operating system. And it consists of first responders found in our innate immune system. And then there's the specialists, which are part of the acquired immunity, because it makes specific antibodies that attack the very specifically identified invaders. And it's much more surgically and precise, this acquired part of the immune system. And when you see the impact of the innate system, the recognition of the defenders, or the, let's say the invaders, the body goes into a massive, devastating attack plan, and it could be highly damaging if it just continues on. And this is why it turns off and shifts over to the acquired immune system. And then the overall immune response has a third characteristic, and this is the general immunity that works 7/24. It's like the alert mechanism that activates the innate first response, or it's the cleanup and repair crew that goes around and cleans up after the innate and acquired immune system have released all their components. And this dynamic third aspect includes interferons and cholesterol and amyloid factors and all the cytokine components that we talk about. And I know these are all very technical and fancy words, clinical words, but these are the things that we measure to see our immune response. And what we're sharing today is that to help you understand that TeloYouth is designed to support and maintain all three of these aspects. So it has the ability with its ingredients to facilitate the interferon response. And this is so important today because interferon activates the innate immunity against any type of viral invader. So it has a very powerful antiviral activity. And then you have the immune response that goes in and cleans up and repairs. So just a little quick review, you've got the innate system, which triggers our white blood cells and designed to attack any type of foreign invader. And then you have the acquired immune system, which is the specialist that create these antibodies against a very specific invader. And so this would be far more efficient than a vaccine, because the acquired immune system can identify all the different types of invaders and deal with them simultaneously. So it's much more dramatic than an isolated vaccine that we try to recreate in the clinical environment. And then you have the overall blanket immunity, this third aspect that I just mentioned, and coordinates the other two parts of the immune system. So let's look at these first three ingredients here that we shared 2 weeks ago. And these are 3 of the 6 ingredients that deal with immune modulation. And what that means by modulation is that when the immune system is overactive or too strong or going on for too long, it tones it down, it tampons the fire. Or if the immune system is too weak, it'll crank it up. So this is the part of the defensive part of the immune system. So all 6 of TeloYouth's ingredients impact immunity, but these first 3 are the ones that deal with the defensive response. In this slide, we're introducing the immune system signaling, and this gives you an idea how it works. We've often shared how the immune system resides in the GI tract, in the gut, and it participates as much as 70 to 80%. And so it makes good sense that when you look at the right-hand side, the diagram that shows the GI tract, that the microbiome, the bacteria, the good bacteria that reside in the GI tract play a key role in our health. So this is why our diet is so important, not just for the nutrient density, but for its prebiotic and probiotic support to the microbiome. So what few of us realize that this part of the physiology of our body is a command and control center of our immune system. And this is why the GI tract or the gut is often referred to as the body's second brain. So the gut doesn't just respond to what we swallow when we eat something, but it also has a very unique connection to what we call this, it's a mucociliary elevator. And that's just a fancy term for just telling you that the lungs and the throat has this cilial, this elevator of sorts that pushes up any foreign substances that we would breathe in or inhale, and through the mouth and through the nose. And it moves up this system through the mucus, and then it drains down from the throat and the sinus cavities into the GI tract, and the GI tract reads this this substance, this mucoid substance that's coming from this physiology that the body's designed to do. So this is a very important part, and what very few of us have learned about from the standpoint of how our immune system works, because this triggers an awareness to the air quality that we're breathing in, the kinds of things that are outgassing. We'll buy clothes, or we'll live in a house and have different types of building materials and the furniture, and like getting into a new car, there's always this outgassing. And this creates a lot of immune problems with individuals, and it's referred to as chemical sensitivities. And what we're trying to share here is that there's always this crosstalk that's going on between every aspect of how our body gets imposed upon from outside invaders. So those invaders are coming in from trauma to the tissue through what we breathe, what we drink, what we ingest. And all of these things elicit a very, very active immune response. So you can see why, the GI tract plays a key role. The intestines are really an important factor in maintaining your immune health, and why taking TeloYouth supports the anti-inflammatory, over active inflammation that tears down the GI tract, and you get things like leaky gut syndrome, which is very common in today's culture, and it is a very powerful immune disabler. So these are all the things that we're seeing that these key ingredients, these first three ingredients that we introduced a couple of weeks ago, where the aloe vera extract really triggers a healthy immune response, and the chaga mushroom is a super protector, not just from the beta glycans that come from the mushroom, but also the melanin that we talk about to protect us from the energy invasions that we're getting from our technology, and the different types of nuclear radiations that we're starting to get exposed to because of the different type of nuclear accidents and things that are happening. And the Rhodiola rosea is really key because it works with the nervous system, and really is a key link and connector to the immune system and the nervous system, and facilitates the ability to turn on and turn off the activation of these key systems. So very important ingredients here that we designed into the TeloYouth. So here's the challenges that our immune system is facing. The environmental toxins that we shared, the food, air, water, the electromagnetic frequencies that we're bombarded with, the microbes, the viruses, bacteria, and fungi, especially the viruses we're hearing about today, and the metabolic imbalances. These are the toxins that and the damaging, or let's say the traumatizing impacts to the immune system that come from our metabolic processes. So when we have blood sugar irregularities and blood pressure problems, and overexposure to oxidative stressors, these are the telltale signs of our metabolism being out of balance. And this is what leads, if it's further exacerbated or continues on unabated, then it creates the chronic degenerative diseases that we see with cardiovascular disease and blood sugar disorders like diabetes, and all the different types of autoimmune conditions. And of course, nutritional deficiencies. This is why we emphasize a good, healthy diet. But that diet needs to support the microbiome, because the microbiome plays a key role in the signaling and the communicating to our immune system and how it's going to respond. So there's these imbalances that when they're first coming into the system, create a low-grade inflammation. This is a fire that's it's not something that is so aggressive that we feel it, but it's underneath the surface. But even though it's underneath the surface, it's still draining our energy. It's impacting our vitality, our ability to handle other forms of stress. And all of these things impact our mitochondrial function. And these are those little energy factories inside of every cell, as many as 500 to 2,000 of them. These energy factories are in the key cells that make energy for us. And remember, we're energy beings first. So it's important to understand how this is an incredible orchestration that goes on. This is why when you take something like TeloYouth, it is so powerful and dramatic because it has the ability to help synchronize and orchestrate all the different systems that deal with these different challenges, as you can see, that are so diverse and varied throughout the body. So let's go into the whole energy dynamics a little bit more here when we talk about the availability of our stem cells, because our stem cells, as we're learning, are so critical in the regeneration and revitalization, and especially as we age, the available stem cells in our bodies has declined dramatically. You know, when we're a newborn, we have 1 in 10,000 cells as a stem cell. And by the time we're teenagers, that's, 1 in 100,000. And by age 50, 1 in 400,000. And in your 70s and 80s, 1 in 2 million. So you see how difficult it is to regenerate and repair the body. And to know that when you take TeloYouth, you have ingested something that facilitates the regeneration of this of your stem cell pool. And by creating more stem cells, you're not just creating a greater ability to regenerate and repair, because stem cells are shown, and most popular to be known as what can make new tissue and develop into any type of tissue once they're, in their first pluripotent form. But today's focus on the stem cell is to help you understand that the stem cells play a key role in relationship to the immune system. Stem cells have now been shown to facilitate the cytokine response, the immune response, and they have the ability to decrease the production of inflammatory signaling from the immune system and increase the anti-inflammatory signaling that comes from the immune system. And this is very important because most of the issues as we age is the inflammatory response that's out of control. And when you can have stem cells supporting the immune response to modulate this inflammatory response, this goes a long way in helping the body to regenerate and repair. So many of you have heard about individuals getting stem cell injections into their joints, like for a knee or for a hip or a shoulder. And one of the key components of that stem cell injection is not just that it can stimulate the regeneration of the tissue, but one of the first things it does, it turns off the inflammatory response that's causing that breakdown in those joints. So here's a part of TeloYouth that shows how we play a key role with the immune response by facilitating the activation of our stem cells. So the marine collagen, collagen is the super glue that holds our cells together. But by holding our cells together, it allows for strong tissue integrity and also works as a communication superhighway. And this strong tissue integrity means strong bones, and guess where our stem cell factory is? It's in the bone marrow. So with the strong bones, you have healthy bone marrow, making lots of stem cells, and then these stem cells are released and then activated by the fertilized tissue extract. So we refer to these three ingredients that facilitate the repair mechanism of the immune response. So the first three focus primarily on the defensive dynamics of the immune system, and these three focus on the repair mechanism of the immune response. So very important to see the full spectrum of all the ingredients in TeloYouth and how they support the immune response, which is so dynamic and pervasive throughout the whole body. This is just charts that, again, reflect the decline our energy functions of the mitochondria and the cells and the stem cells that decline, as we showed you in the other slide. And one of the key components to TeloYouth's ability to facilitate not just the stimulation and activation of our stem cells, but is to slow down the accelerated aging process that happens because of the stress. And today we're exposed to so much stress, as we showed on the other slide, coming at us from inside and outside and from all these different areas of our lives. So when we are able to tamp down our stress, then this facilitates the body's focus and its ability to repair and regenerate. And so important in what we're trying to help everyone understand with TeloYouth. So again, the proof is in the pudding, and when we have, a photograph is worth 1,000 words or more. And here we're showing a very special member of the TeloYouth family, Sharon, and over a 2-year period, she had just dramatic changes in her vitality and her health and well-being. And you can see that in these photos, how the puffiness, the tissue integrity changed, and her facial features just got younger and younger. And this is what's happening throughout her body on the inside. And then we have the lab tests that show that. So the TeloYouth is so dramatic, it impacts all the systems. And the way it does that is through the immunity, through the stem cell production. And you see the hemoglobin numbers improve so that she has more of the red blood cell activity, so that she's getting more oxygen. And you see the cholesterol changes, where the overall cholesterol is coming down because it's being facilitated and used more appropriately. And the HDL, the protective cholesterols, are higher, and the LDLs, the cholesterols that need to be converted into the hormones and the immune factors that we require and need. And they're more regulated and facilitated by this blood work that shows the changes that happened with Sharon when she started to take TeloYouth. And triglycerides are showing that she's handling her carbohydrates better. And then the TSH, that's a measurement of your thyroid function. And when that's high, that's telling the practitioner that the body's looking for more thyroid activity. That's the metabolic hormones. That's the energy. That's the hormones that facilitate our ability to make the energy from our food and our metabolic processes. And as that goes down, that's showing you that the stress on the thyroid is much less, and it's able to mediate and modulate for itself. So this is so powerful to not only see in the pictures that were taken over a 2-year period with Sharon, but it's validated and verified in her chemistry inside her body that's reflecting these changes. So the takeaway here is to understand that your body is the most powerful, makes the most powerful therapeutic agents that you can imagine. So rather than trying to understand all this technical jargon that I've shared with you here today, just understand that by working with your body's own ability to facilitate its own biochemistry, you can produce more therapeutic agents to heal and repair than all the pharmacies of the world combined. And your body knows how to administer these agents, to make them in the right amount, to release them at the right time, and put them in the right place. And this is why we tell you that taking TeloYouth helps to restore and resupply the body's internal pharmacy, and this facilitates the ability to stay healthy and to actually reverse the aging process, to rejuvenate. So the real key takeaway is to help everyone understand, your family and friends, why we're just so excited about sharing this product with you, and why you're seeing the results that we're sharing with you here today. So we're going to wrap things up here, and just know that, this is part of the educational process that we make available with these presentations. They're not designed to treat, cure, or ameliorate any type of disease. You need to work directly with your health practitioner with any kind of imbalances. But know that TeloYouth is a composition of 6 therapeutic concentrated foods that facilitate this remarkable orchestration that goes on. And we're so glad you were able to join us here today. And MJ, I'm going to turn it back to you and see if you've got any announcements. And just thank you all for joining us.
All right, well, thank you, Dr. Chris, for sharing your knowledge. So upcoming Saturday, we're gonna have online community session. So we'll share real life stories of TeloYouth clients on how their life have changed, and we'll also answer your questions. So we encourage you to bring your stories and questions.